Hey guys, I am IzDaisho, and I am here bringing you an Avacyn Restored Draft. Hells yeah, this is awesome. I'm really excited for this new set to come out, and it was pretty fun. I drafted this set a couple of days ago. Me and my friends, a bunch of us won packs at the pre-release, so we were able to come home and do a draft. Unfortunately, I think I opened the worst pack ever in Avacyn Restored. The rare is something unplayable, and then there's just a bunch of, like, mid-range packs, like cards like 5 through 7 cards, and then like a couple of bad cards. But really considering, like, as I cycle through this pack, I'm like, okay, if I keep looking, then maybe I'll find a really good card. But as I looked further and further, I couldn't find anything. I found Marrow Bats, which, I don't know, that card seems alright. You have to pay 4 life to regenerate it, but other than that, it is a 5-cost 4/1 flyer, so it does have 4 power and flies, so, I don't know, it's not that relevant in this set because there's a lot of flyers, but if you want to have some sort of power as a flyer, then it should be 4, because then it'll kill the Angelic Wall, it'll kill Seraph of Dawn. Basically 4 damage to flyers is really what you want to be doing. So there's that, and then there's like a Nightshade Peddler, and I'm like, you know what, I kind of wanted to go green, and this guy's pretty good. He does give Death Touch, so he's sort of like Onyx Mage in that he can give repeatable Death Touch, because if you Death Touch like a weak dude, and then it dies, or like it just blocks something and dies, then they can trade, and then you can get a new card and stuff and pair them again. So that's pretty good. This pack is a little better. It's got a Peeler from Reality, it's got a Bloodflow Connoisseur, and a couple of good red cards, I think. But I took the green card first, and is that a Midvast Protector? If that is, then I definitely think I should have gone for that, because that card is really strong. But Druid's Familiar was shiny, and it's a really powerful card as well, so I had to take it pretty much. It's definitely a really strong card. You guys will definitely see that in the draft or in the game. But anyway, there's a Borderland Ranger in this pack, and then there's an Angel's Tomb. And originally I thought Angel's Tomb would be really strong, but after playing with it a little bit, I kind of view it as not so good, and I'm going to explain to you why I don't like Angel's Tomb too much, because it is a 3/3 flyer, sure, but it's only a 3/3 flyer to attack, and not only that, it's not always a flyer, so, I mean, it's not always a creature, so sometimes it just sits there, and it's a 3-mana investment that you kind of just wasted, and it also makes you play your creatures before you attack. You don't always want to do that, so I don't know, maybe I wouldn't have taken it in retrospect, but here I take a Borderland Ranger, and this card is really good. Basically, my goal, once I saw that Borderland Ranger, the second one, I'm just like, okay, here's what I can do. I can just take green cards now, and then once I find, like, any sort of bomb, because I already have the Borderland Ranger, and you'll see in a couple seconds I pick up an Abundant Growth, so if I see any sort of bomb, then I can just take it, go into that color, and just be happy about it. Even if I choose a secondary color in this pack, then in the next pack I can still choose some sort of bomb and just win the draft by doing that. It seems like a really solid strategy, and that's basically what I'm going to try to do here. So, still taking green cards. There's another Borderland Ranger in this pack, but after taking a Borderland Ranger and an Abundant Growth, I don't really think I need one too much. There's a Searchlight Geist, and then there is that Pathbreaker Wurm, as well as a couple of white cards. I think that's a Moonlight Geist, the white one and the black one. And there's a Borderland Ranger here, but after some careful consideration, I actually do really think about this pick, because this is one of the best packs that I've seen in a while. There's also a Fetter Geist in this pack. Not exactly sure what that card that I just pulled out is, but I don't know, there's just a lot of, like, pretty good cards in this pack. There's also that enchantment that makes a human every turn, which, that card I'm not so sure about how good it is, especially, like, enchantments, they're already, I mean, auras are inherently weak, and just the fact that it doesn't really do much for you right away leads me to believe that it's a pretty bad card. But anyway, I think I do end up going with the Pathbreaker Wurm. He's the Soul Bond for Trample dude. I was like, alright, I'm going to take this blue card, and then I'm like, nope, it's going to be between Borderland Ranger and Pathbreaker Wurm. I hope I'm getting the name right, because that would be really bad if I didn't get the name right. But anyway, I end up going with him. I already have some sort of Soul Bond theme going, and it would just add to that, so that sounds pretty good to me. I like the fact that I have a theme going already, even in the first couple of picks. There we go, Pathbreaker Wurm. I was right. Hells yeah. And it's a 6/4 trample that gives another thing trample. So then this pack is just really funny because to go along with that Soulbond theme, which I just made the decision to do, there's a Joint Assault and a Flowering Lumberknot in this pack. So Flowering Lumberknot is going to be the pick pretty much right away. It's a 4-cost 5/5. Like, imagine if you play that guy turn 4, and then the next turn you play Druid's Familiar, and then it becomes a 7/7. And the next turn you play Pathbreaker Wurm, and it's a 7/7 trample. That just seems ridiculously overpowered. So anyway, there's a few cards in this pack. I'm not exactly sure. I don't think I want any of them. It's like the Soulbond for Zombies guy, and I'm not sure what the other green card is. Sorry, I don't know the cards by picture yet, so it's hard for me to tell. But I take Fleeting Distraction. I really like the card. You guys knew it from Duels of the Planeswalkers, obviously, and I know that they go pretty late, so maybe it's not really a sign that I should be in blue, but it's definitely a possibility. And right here, this is the pack that I opened, and to my surprise, I mean, like, after the Fleeting Distraction, I sort of wanted to go black, but not spoilers, sort of wanted to go blue, but I saw that the Marrow Bats was still in this pack, and that is like, wow, because that's when I was evaluating the pack, I thought that was the second best card in the pack, and I did not expect it to come back even in the slightest. And then the next card, in the next pack, there's that Bloodflow Connoisseur, which I thought that was just a really, really good card, and I evaluated it a lot better than I would evaluate it right now. But there also is another Fleeting Distraction, and I think it's the Soulbond to untap a dude guy, but I end up taking the Bloodflow Connoisseur, and basically say, I want to be in black right now. I think... yeah, there's a Renegade Demon and a polluted something. I don't know. I can't remember the name of the card, but it's the 3/3 for 5 that when it dies, destroy a land. So that doesn't seem great. I take another Bloodflow Connoisseur, and with 3 cards left in the pack, and there's 2 of them are black. It just seems like okay, black is sort of open here, but I'm gonna take this Mental Agony. Wow, look at me go with these card names. And then the last pick, I take the Malicious Intent. But anyway, so early on in the pack, as you guys know my strategy, I just mentioned it. It was go green, find some good colors, find some amazing card, and just go into that. And then my secondary option was, wow, black is so open, I'm going into black. So right here, I'm like, okay, my deck is going to be a green-black deck pretty much no matter what, unless I see a really strong bomb, in which case I can play my Abundant Growths, play my Borderland Rangers, and I can actually get going, get to work, and have a nice 3-color deck. Or just 2-color deck with a tiny little bit of splashing. But I see the Trusted Force Mage here, and that really catches my eye. I love that card, and I think it's so good. There's some other good cards in the pack, though. I can't exactly tell what they all are, but I'm pretty sure there was a Seraph of Dawn in that pack, and that card is unbelievable. It's like so much more powerful than well, I mean, I guess I evaluated it pretty highly. But anyway, there's that card, which is the I think he's a 3-cost 1/1. And when he attacks, you can put a counter on. When he deals damage to a player, combat damage to a player, you can put a counter on him. And he also has the ability, tap 2 in a red, deal damage equal to target creature or player equal to the number of counters, or yeah, number of counters on him or something like that. So he's a really, really strong dude, and he's definitely a high pick, but like my deck wasn't really built around that, so I decided to end up going with the Undead Executioner here. I think when he dies, he gives -2/-2. I saw that I already had the 2 Bloodflow Connoisseurs, so I knew that I would actually be able to do this pretty easily. I would be able to sack my dude pretty easily and get the -2/-2. But another really good card in that pack was the Shade. I can't remember the name of it, but it is a 4-cost 1/1 Undying that has the ability that it can pump itself to make it stronger. And then the next pack, I take a Maalfeld Twins pretty easily. There are some other good packs, like the Driver of the Dead card is really good. It brings back a dude with convert mana cost 2 or less. If you get a Butcher Cool, then that's an amazing combo right there. But anyway, some decent cards in this pack. A lot of blue, but I think I ended up going with the Soul Cage Fiend. I value him pretty highly. If he's a 3/2 for 3, which is already value, and sometimes they really, really don't want it to die, so then he sort of becomes a 3/2 unblockable for 3. So it seems really, really strong. And then here in this pack, when I was going over it, I thought I took a different card. I thought I took the Nettle Swine. because I really like the Nettle Swine, actually. It's a 4-cost 4/3, but it really just gets the work done that you need it to get done, and it's just a good card. It works in so many situations, and I think that was the guy who, when he enters the battlefield, you gain 2 life for each other creature. I'm not 100% sure exactly what it was, but I end up going with the Pillar of Flame here because I'm still thinking I'm running the Abundant Growth, I'm running the Borderland Ranger. I can easily run Pillar of Flame and be really happy about it and have just a removal spell because I didn't really find much removal yet in my my green-black deck, so that would be kind of nice. Here there's a couple of cards that I could take here. There's the Geist Trappers and Butcher Ghoul and Predators. This is so hard. I mean, it's my first time talking about these cards. I can't remember exactly what I go for, but I think Butcher's Ghoul would be the pick here. With 2 Bloodflow Connoisseurs, his stats are identical to Young Wolf, but at the 2-drop spot. But the thing about it is, if there was a Young Wolf in black, I would easily play it, obviously, because I love Butcher Ghoul. I think he's one of the best cards that you can get for your black deck. He just had so much synergy, and it's so helpful to have that Undying guy really cheap. I think this is a pack where, let's see, like, this is another one of those packs. This pack is basically saying, Daisho, you're so set. You're the only one, or there might be one other person in black on the entire table. So you're just going to be happy about this, and you're going to win everything. But I don't know. I'll let you know as we get towards the end something that was kind of funny that happened that definitely didn't make this draft as easy as I hoped it would be. But I ended up taking this Homicidal Seclusion, I believe it is. It gives my creature +3+. Oh no, I take the Searchlight. Nope. I do take the Homicidal Seclusion. Aha, I knew I confused myself at one point. So that was a little mistake. Sorry about that. But I knew. So I take the Homicidal Seclusion over the Searchlight Geist. I think Searchlight Geist might have been a better pick. Then I would have had that 2/1 flyer. He's really good for 3, and he can give Death Touch, so he's pretty strong. I take Geist Trappers here. I still want to have a little bit of a Soul Bond theme, and he's obviously really good for that. And it's just a 3/5, so it's still good even without that. There's a Triumph of something. Triumph of Ferocity. It's got to be Ferocity. Cruelty has to be the black one, right? Okay, so there's a Triumph of Ferocity in this pack, and that probably should have been like the snap pick. And next time I do play, I'll probably choose him, because if you curve out and play that guy turn 3, and then you're Flowering Lumbernut turn 4, there's no way that your opponent is going to have a creature bigger than a 5/5, and he's not really going to want to waste removal spells on your 5/5, especially if it's unpaired. So then that basically allows me to play the Flowering Lumbernut no matter what, even if I don't get much more Soul Bond, because yes, sure, sometimes he'll just be a 5/5 who can't do anything, but he's still drawing me a card every turn. So, I mean, obviously not preferred, but I take a second Abundant Growth here. I'm just like, whatever, I'm not going to run. Triumph of Ferocity, but I think Ferocity is a lot better now than I thought it was, or than I evaluated it at the time, which was just a couple of days ago, by the way. It was like 4 or 5 days ago. Anyway, I took Soul Cage Fiend last pick, and then I'm going to take, or the previous pick, and then I'm going to take another Soul Cage Fiend here. So that makes 3 of them, and I mean, it's just filling out the curve is really nice, just getting those 3 drops, but with the double Bloodflow Connoisseur that I already have, that's just a lot. I just think I couldn't see what that card was, so sorry about that. But anyway, the last 2 cards here are both black, and I get a Crypt Keeper, which is, again, it's just filling out the curve is nice. So the 2/1, and then there's this Predator's Gambit, which makes it to me last, which never should really go last. It's such a good card that it definitely shouldn't be a last pick for pretty much anyone. But now let's open up the last pack, and now I guess I'll spoil it for you. The reason why there was so much black in the first pack towards the end was because at that point the only other person playing black was the person all the way across the table. So out of the 8 people, there was only me and one other guy who wanted to run black. And then right away at the beginning of this pack, or at the beginning of the second pack, the person directly to the right of me, so the person who is going to be passing me all the cards of this pack, opened a Grizzlebrand. So he basically really wanted to go into black, and that's what he did. He went into black, and he started cutting all the cards for me. So if he hadn't gone into black, I definitely would have had a lot stronger cards for my deck, because basically everything in this pack that I was hoping would table didn't really table, because he just cut it off right before it got to me. So that was a little bit unfortunate, but you know, these things do happen, and this pack. So there's actually some really good cards in this pack. I'm just gonna leave my other thought just completely dead. But it looks like there's a Moonlight Geist, an Angel's Tomb, and a Maalfeld Twins, and I think I end up going with the second Angel's Tomb. And I like Angel's Tomb, but it's definitely not as high as I thought it would be. I would rather just have the designated 2/1 flyer who can get death touch sometimes. That's way better. And the 6-cost dude who, when he dies, makes 2 2/2s, that guy's also way better. But anyway, there's a Borderland Ranger in this pack, and maybe another Crypt Keeper. I don't know. It's hard to recognize the pictures. I'll get it eventually. Don't worry, guys. And just right now, I'm having a little bit of trouble. I think that's a Ghoul Flesh. Yep, that's a Ghoul Flesh, which is, I believe, the -1 enchant creature -1. It becomes a zombie and gets -1/-1 as long as it's equipped, so that's pretty good. But it only kills 1 power creatures, so 1 toughness creatures rather. Sorry about that. Anyway, Wandering Wolf is a really good card. Lucky I managed to pick it up. It gets really strong if you can find those 2-cost guys who put a +1/+1 counter on someone. Or I figured if I could put that the +2/+1 enchantment on him, then that would be really nice. Even though I don't have to worry about it getting Intimidate, because it's going to be pretty intimidating anyway. But yeah, anyway, I think I'd take a Nettle Swine here if there's one in this pack. I know I do pick up a Nettle Swine somewhere. Yep, there he is, right in the front. There's a Flowering Lumberknot as well, but I don't really think that I picked up enough Soul Bond in pack 2 and at the beginning of pack 3 to really just be building that dedicated Soul Bond deck. So maybe I can run 1 Flowering Lumberknot, but definitely not 2. And I'd rather just take the cut, the cut in 1 power and 2 toughness. That's actually going to always be able to attack. So he's a really good card, Nettle Swine is, and you should definitely pick him earlier than you're thinking, just because it, like, 4 power and 3 toughness is usually just strong enough to deal with pretty much anything your opponent can really throw at you. Anyway, this pack is completely devoid of green and red. There's 1 green card, but it's probably bad, so I just take a Fervent Cathar. I think that there's still a possibility that I'm going to be splashing for Pillar of Flame, and while probably not going to run that guy, he is a pretty good creature, so I could run him. Anyway, right here, again, there's not much in this pack, so I'm just like, alright, take a 3rd Bloodflow Connoisseur. And again, I thought that card would be so good. Like, you guys know how Vampire Aristocrat is and how useful he is, but 3 of them in a 40-card deck isn't really as useful as I would have thought. I'm going to take the Blood Artist here right away. That guy is as good as I thought he was. Falconwrath Noble for 2 mana is awesome. Falconwrath Noble never really wanted to attack or block anyway, so the fact that this guy's a 0/1 just makes it kind of like, he's basically just an enchantment that can be killed easier. But anyway, I take the Joint Assault here, and this is a pretty late Searchlight Geist. I would have been happier to have 2 of them instead of that other random card that I took earlier. I don't remember what it was. But yeah, anyway, I'll take a Ghoul Flesh here. It's like 4th to last, so I mean, it's sort of a removal spell. It's definitely sideboardable. If my opponent has a lot of X1s, I'll definitely start bringing that card in. And I can't tell what the other black card in this pack is, but I guess I didn't deem it worthy enough. And there's also Moonlight Geist in there, so that seems pretty good for whoever got that. This pack is pretty bad. God, I can't remember what that card is called. I think it starts with, yeah, Necrobite. There we go. Current creature gains Death Touch till end of turn and regenerate. So it's actually kind of a removal spell. I definitely should have run it. It didn't end up making the final cut to my deck, but I probably should have run it. There's Mental Agony, and then there's just a random fleeting distraction. So anyway, hope you guys enjoyed this draft video, and I'll try to get up the gameplay for you within the next few days. But anyway, hope you guys enjoyed. Have a nice day. Bye.